Sherlock Holmes spin-off shows in development at HBO Max with Robert Downey Jr. Mary told me that she is partial to Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock.
Yeah, by far.
No, Robert Downey Jr. is way better.
I am of the opinion that seasons 1 and 2 of Sherlock were fantastic, if not a little bit pretentious. I think there's some pretentious. Moffat, that's part of his directing. You know, he's Doctor Who, all that stuff.
It's possible that I really like Robert Downey Jr.'s versions of Sherlock Holmes because he was produced by Guy Ritchie, and I love Guy Ritchie.
And we love Guy Ritchie here. It's
him.
got Jude Law. It's got
Robert.
not Martin Campbell. I almost called him Martin Campbell.
I don't know. Sorry.
The guy who plays Watson in Benedict Cumberbatch's version. It's Martin. It's not. What's his name? It's not Martin Campbell. It's I can't remember his name.
I would have known years ago, but
yes,
I don't know now.
I'm supposed to remember this.
Yeah,
Brett.
I know. No, that's the problem with doing this job. Is like now it's like you're the culture guy.
You know
have to
everything.
know.
Yeah. That's fine.
I'm not going to look it
the
up.
guy who played Watson.
Yes.
I remember right after the cameras.
Yeah,
were
it'll
off.
be
Oh
good.
yeah,
Absolutely. That's how it works. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm actually a bigger fan of Elementary, the CBS version, which I know is not a very faithful adaptation. I know.
It could be a spin-off. That's fine.
I enjoy it because it's got Johnny Lee Miller.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle did enough work and did enough interesting things with Sherlock Holmes that there are enough fascinating spin-offs that could be made. I think it's basically an endless well of stuff you could do.
It's gonna be a Mrs. Hudson show.
I'm not familiar with that, but yeah,
Mrs. Hudson owns.
Oh yeah,
owns
that's super
Baker Street.
spin-off.
Yeah. That would be funny. That would be funny.
That would be great. Well, they could also talk about Irene, the lady that Sherlock Holmes was involved with,
Martin,
or his brother,
Martin Freeman. Sorry.
Freeman. There
Yes.
you go.
Okay.
It was bothering him. I could tell.
I want to say Martin Campbell, but Martin Campbell is the one who did. He launched 2 of the different James Bond characters. He directed GoldenEye and he directed Casino Royale. Not really relevant here, but it's another Martin.
Different.
Could have been Steve Martin, but it's not Steve Martin.
Not Steve Martin.
So a Mycroft show could be good.
Yeah.
A Mycroft show could be good.
Irene Adler would be great.
I feel like that's if we're gonna get anything in the age of strong independent women that don't need no man.
She was though. She was a strong independent lady.
And it was done well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like it can be done well. It's like they did. I don't know if either of you saw Enola Holmes on Netflix.
No, I heard about
where
it.
you get a very beefy Sherlock Holmes and Henry Cavill, but he's not the main character. He's a side character in that. It's about Enola Holmes, which I thought was like I think my favorite description was like not just average, but like aggressively average. When you'll watch it and you'll like it, but you'll be like, I don't know why I like it. It's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's quite all right.
Like in an age where this could have been really bad, it's
Not
fine.
too bad.
It's
hey,
fine.
that's moving on up. That's B material.
Yep. So it says Warner Brothers has had a lot of success with their various franchises over the last decade. One of the properties that has not been seen in a while is Sherlock Holmes series starring Robert Downey Jr. I'm a fan of the first one. I didn't really care for the second Robert Downey Jr. one. As the famous detective, the third film in the franchise has been in development for a while, but now appears to be that the 2 Sherlock Holmes spin-off series are in development at HBO Max. Variety reported that both series are set in the Downey universe. I hope they call it the Downeyverse.
Downeyverse. That'd be
It's got to
great.
be the Downeyverse.
Yes.
And it can be like a picture of Robert Downey Jr. on like a Downey laundry detergent.
That'd be great. I love that.
Wearing a Sherlock Holmes hat. That's what it should be. So it says the series are executive produced by Downey Jr. And Susan Downey. I'm assuming that's his wife.
Sounds like
Must
it.
be.
Don't know.
Amanda Burrell of Team Downey.
Huh.
Not much narcissism. He's got the Downey team, the Downey company, and the Downeyverse. And then they don't use Downey laundry detergent, I bet, just unless maybe he owns stake in it now.
I bet he owns the Downey.
He bought it.
I don't know.
He bought Downey.
Yeah.
It says the last film we saw. Okay, so they're talking about the series. I would like to see them do Irene Adler, since that's the one that I think that they would do. Just because we're not going to get this for a while, but also this is going to be more common. Like the Batman just came out. Right. And the Batman, before that movie even came out, they announced multiple TV series on HBO Max related to it now. So I think what they're going to be doing is the movies cost a fair amount to make, but they're going to be used basically as as funneling promotion into these television series. So go see the Batman movie, but what you'll get in addition to that is you'll get the sequel down the line, sure, but you'll get the Penguin show based on Colin Farrell's Penguin. You'll get Gotham PD based on Jeffrey Wright's Gordon. So they're going to use the movies as basically high expense promotional material for the streaming services, which get them more continuous money.
I don't like that. See, I don't like the whole sequel and spinoff thing. And I know I just said that about Sherlock Holmes being great.
It'd be great.
Jr., but that is, like I said before, that is because I like Guy Ritchie, and it's also because the source material, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, was a fantastic author.
Yeah.
When you get something like Batman, I feel like there's less material to use.
There's arguably more great Batman material. It's
think so?
More of it is a lot of it is tied up in rights. A lot of it is tied up in like how do you adapt certain stories. It's just a different medium.
It's possible that they just need to come up with something new.
It's a different medium. So, but for this, like I see like do a third Downey Jr. movie.
Yeah.
I don't see he's not too old.
No,
is he?
Yeah.
He's
he's
got to be
right
in his mid 50s or something
yeah.
like that. I would like to see more of the more obscure Conan Doyle stories done. One thing I liked about one thing that they took liberties with on Elementary that wasn't really explicitly talked about in the books is addiction, meaning that there's the talk about him using chemicals because of the way his brain works. It helps with dealing with being
a super genius.
Yeah, basically like.
You've read the original stories, right?
Yep.
It's a theme.
Yeah.
Like he's very heavily addicted.
But they don't talk about recovery the same way. It's but in the show Elementary, they made him being in recovery part of it because it's modern day interpretation. And then I guess you could call Sherlock modern, but it's not like they took that theme as modern. It's just there's cell phones, there's general technology and stuff like that. So I prefer I like the more time ambiguous stuff these days because it keeps them from using cliches in the writing.
Yeah.
Keeps it fresh. Yeah.
Like,
I'm only partial to the Benedict Cumberbatch one because that's what I watched as a kid.
There you go.
That's it.
See, I didn't like the ones with the sister in that one because then it didn't even feel like Sherlock anymore. It felt like a super, like they were trying to make like a spy thriller, a spy like superhero type-esque thriller. And it didn't really work
That's
the
not
same
what
way.
it is. Yeah.
No, it's not. So, and of course, Benedict Cumberbatch is incredible as an actor. So that helps.
It's true.
So we'll see where this goes. I would see that they could do a Watson spinoff. Do Watson as like a field medic in the military.
Has there been a Moriarty one?
There should
That's
be.
actually, yeah.
I was thinking that would be a great one.
Who played Moriarty in?
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Sorry.
Arguably, the guy who played Moriarty in Sherlock is far more memorable.
He did a good job.
He did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Did you know that Moriarty in Elementary was played by a girl?
No.
Was played by what's her name? She's a very famous British actress from Game of Thrones. She was only able to do a couple of episodes too because she was such a big.
I'd say maybe Tilda Swinton, but
no, much younger than. Oh no, far. Far better looking than that.
She's like
a
very
clue.
Yeah, she's like a very androgynous face, Tilda Swinton. So that's what I was thinking.
That wasn't meant to be mean. I'm just saying younger.
Yeah,
I was not trying to be. Oh, Natalie Dormer.
Yeah.
So she plays she plays Moriarty as a female. Jamie
Amanda Moriarty. Yeah.
Jamie Moriarty.
Right. Yeah.
And it's done fairly well, but not nearly as well as the guy who played him in Sherlock.
Yeah,
So
Moriarty is supposed to be very menacing. I don't think a woman could pull that off.
they did it in this because Watson is a woman in Elementary. Joan Watson, played by Lucy Liu.
Oh, that's right.
Yep,
Yeah,
which I'm a big fan of.
that's great.
Race and gender swaps work when you don't brag about it like you're changing the world,
Right.
which I will harp on every time.
It's like a surprise to people. They're like, oh, that's Watson? That's interesting. Huh.
Plus, she was able to she has to do the thing where she's kind of always exasperated by how he is, and she has this kind of it gets kind of old in the later seasons because she just looks angry all the time. They all just look angry all the time.
Yeah.
But in the earlier seasons, it plays off well as she's just exacerbated by.
I think it's better on a man because you would expect a woman to be all frazzled, you know.
And in the show, she's a doctor. She's a surgeon who retired, and she's played as this very competent and capable character, but she doesn't pick up the detective work stuff right away. It takes time, and they build that up.
Right.
So, all right, Vogue boss.
Oh yeah.
Vogue boss. This is. Do you wanna read this one?
Sure.
Do you want to read this one?
Okay. The boss wears Prada. The workers get nada.
Catchy.
What was the one you said earlier?
Oh, what was I came up with my own.
It was so good.
I don't remember what was the company. I don't remember the company. I made another. I made a joke regarding.
The boss wears Jimmy Choo.
No, that wasn't that one. There was a funnier one at the beginning.
There
that
was.
Think about it.
I should have written it down.
Yeah, what the heck?
But I was like, I would like to be hired to be a sign maker for companies.
You write the headlines
I think
for
I
Daily
could
Mail.
do that. I think I could do that.
Vogue boss Anna Wintour faces employees' mutiny over pay and unethical practices.
Not good.
Yes. So she's getting 500-ish protesters outside of her Manhattan townhome
Is that a lot?
from Condé Nast.
Does seem like a lot.
One of the
500?
signs says
Yeah.
Condé Nasty.
I like that
pretty
one.
Good. That's good.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah, it's good. I like that one. But it says the editor-in-chief of Vogue has been on a mission to preserve her legacy and make the fashion Bible more woke. So this is the backlash to wokeness?
No.
That's
This is funnier.
They want to be more woke?
They're basically they call for like the practices in hiring to change.
Well, it's backfiring on her.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because it's never enough.
She brought in
Yeah.
a bunch of woke people, and now they're being woke at her.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Well, they're like
Oops.
they use the term tokenization here.
Oh my gosh.
So they call for like tokenized hiring, and then get mad when tokenized hiring happens.
This
Can
is
you-
a dangerous game to play.
Yep. So, well, let's say you can never be politically correct enough. You can never be progressive enough.
Yeah.
So, especially in fashion, I imagine that this is probably going to become more of a problem as time goes on. So it says, do you want to keep or should I read?
You can read.
Okay, so it says, as one of fashion's most influential stars, Dame Anna Wintour, is it Wintour or Winter?
Wintour.
Wintour
Yeah.
is no stranger to controversy, but the editor-in-chief of Vogue, who has been on a mission to preserve her legacy and make the fashion Bible more woke, has now found herself at the center of an escalating staff mutiny over allegations of tokenistic hiring decisions and poor pay and conditions. Workers last year staged protests outside of Dame Anna's Manhattan townhouse, chanting, "You can't eat prestige," and the boss wears Prada and the workers get nada. They're right about that, about the, so the idea is like you can come work for her, and because you're working for Vogue, it's prestigious.
You're getting paid with the name and
Right.
the credibility of it all.
This happens in skating all the time as companies like, it's an honor to ride for this company, so you shouldn't expect to get paid. Just
that's
getting free
smart.
skates is
Yeah.
enough.
But there is something to that, especially from Vogue. I think it is a valuable resume builder, and that's probably why people settle for getting underpaid just to be involved in the company.
And even if they're making like 50 grand a year in Manhattan, that's basically the same thing as living in the
That's
street.
not enough. Yeah.
they are barely surviving.
Yeah, that's
So
hard.
it says workers last year staged a protest outside of her house, and it says, and now 400 employees of how do you pronounce it? Condé Nast?
Condé Nast. Yeah.
Condé Nast, Vogue's parent company, which also includes The New Yorker and Glamour magazines, have formed a union to protest against what they describe as the corporation's unethical practices. It'll always be unethical to them.
How are they saying it's unethical?
One of the union's most vocal members, don't they have to, do unions really work if it's not skilled labor?
Unions don't work, period. We don't need unions.
But I'm saying, like I understand where it comes from for people who have in trades or doctors or stuff where they have to go to school.
Well, these people think they are skilled laborers.
Yes.
So
This was happening. This
They're
was
told they're
happening
special.
in the comic
Yeah.
industry right now, where the office staff were unionizing, but they're not the people that make the money for the company.
So bad.
This is one of the union's most vocal members, Courtney Spearman, has personally accused the company of using people of color like her to fulfill a diversity quota. And in a 2-minute video circulating to rally support, members of the staff are seen declaring, "We're burned out, we're underpaid, we're unionizing for a future where any workers from any background can thrive." They're just going to get fired, right?
Hopefully.
They'll just get. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I want them to. I'm saying, won't this just be what? This is what happened when Kickstarter unionized. The people just got fired.
Yeah, unionizing puts such a target on your back, and you need to think carefully about whether you want to do it and why.
Says another source told Anna, everyone answers to Anna. The idea that she's not involved, given all the effort she's been putting in lately to make Vogue woke, is hard to swallow. The workers are rising up in a mutiny, and Karl Marx is literally cheering from his grave, I'm sure. London will be next. The legendary magazine editor has in recent years been attempting to atone for their past missteps. She apologized to staff for race-related mistakes in an internet email, and one editorial meeting is rumored to have been declared, "Why are there so many white people in the room?"
It's very forward with that comment.
It's exhausting.
It is.
But how can you feel bad for her? This reminded me to look into this earlier story where she appointed this new editor-in-chief for Teen Vogue. And
I remember this.
I'm sure she has like zero creative involvement in Teen Vogue at this point. We were joking earlier. It's like, would Karl Marx like your lip gloss?
That's what it is. That's what Teen Vogue is.
Yeah.
Her name was Alexi McCannon or something like that.
I remember her.
And before she even began her position, she got fired because they dug up old tweets of hers during the whole Stop Asian Hate bandwagon.
Thank you for saying dug up and not resurfaced.
No, they did not resurface.
As if they magically sprouted out of nowhere.
Yes.
Like, imagine Twitter just starts implementing a function where they just like repost one of your old tweets.
No.
And, like, you can't turn it off. Like, you just every day you have to be like, what the hell did I post yesterday?
Oh, gosh.
And then like you have to like keep a lookout on your computer and like look back at what you posted on that day. And then right at 12:01 when it reposts it, you got to delete it really quickly. So you can only delete the new post. Yeah. So, well, you know, that's what I'm sure a lot of these celebrities are feeling this way. Like, what did I say 10 years ago? It's become pretty common practice. Like when somebody gets hired for like a big position, they just go through and scrub their social media to make sure that there's nothing on there that people can use against them.
Yeah.
I did find this article to go with it, oddly enough, from Teen Vogue. The fashion industry called for diversity, but has it changed? Experts weigh in. And the article basically says exactly that. It says, it's an interesting position we're in where people care and they want help. And then it's sort of like, okay, well, what is going to concretely make any kind of difference within the industry now that we have the spotlight? And they talk about how they got some of these changes made. It says, where is it? It says, there was a specific paragraph I was looking for. It says they talk about how these basically it was all surface level and they don't actually care about these changes, but this is what happens when you force the company to make them.
Yep.
It's not they can claim all they want in their mission statement. I love these companies always have mission statements when really every company mission statement, if it was being honest, would be like profit more next quarter.
Yes.
Because that's technically that is technically their mission, but it's always some corporate speak like looking to improve the diverse hiring of multiple groups it always ends with synergy somehow. It's got the word synergy in it.
Diversity and
interconnecting perspective.
Yes. Exactly. That's exactly what it would say. And you can like literally see the PR person who wrote this, like first job out of college, or like, I have been waiting so long to use these words that nobody, like speaking in a way that no human being ever actually talks. But there's this paragraph at the end here. It says, I think because there's so much focus on outwardly not being canceled or not being called out for what called out, they're not really taking the time to shift inward. Fashion stylist and costume designer Zarina Akers told Teen Vogue, "We're sitting in the boardroom. Who's in the meetings? Who was on the Zoom calls that is approving of all this stuff? Are you empowering their voice to speak when it's necessary? Do we have diverse opinions in the room? That's how it really starts. The opinions are never diverse.
Never diverse.
It's always the same opinions. It's just that they look different
in a different face.
Yes, yep. That's it's surface level, which for a fashion magazine, I guess, is right on brand.
That's fair.
Is that wrong? Am I wrong about that? Is there something deeper?
Fashion is very politicized, but it all has to come to the same conclusions. Do you guys believe in get woke, go broke?
Yes.
I've been wondering.
At the corporate level, no. At the corporate level, no, most of these companies are too big to fail.
Yeah, because there's something called, we maybe shouldn't get into it on this show, but there's something called ESGs that companies adhere to.
I talk about environmental social governance from time to time.
They're outside of like actual profits.
They don't have to make as much money because they're subsidized by focusing on environmental causes, social issues, and proper governance. This is
what shareholders and investors are looking for.
So if you're a publicly traded company, this helps. If you're private, less so, right?
Right.
Like it doesn't really matter when you're a company the size of Vogue. But yes, we don't need to get into this heavily. But get woke, go broke, maybe for like a smaller company.
Yeah.
For something like this,
Yes.
no.
Somewhere you actually have market forces coming to bear on it, I think so.
Yeah.
Something that's kind of insulated from the real world, maybe not so much.
Yep. I guess that's our own fault. Late stage capitalism or something. I hate that term. All right. I've got one more thing to talk about, and we're going to end on a positive note because an actor finally did what I always tell them to do when they get criticized and when they get insulted. So I did a very rampant, I ranted for about 15 minutes about this show. It was nonsensical and awful, but the show was the show was worse than being nonsensical and awful. It was boring.
Oh no!
And to me, that's the greatest sin of all.
Yeah.
It was my joke was that all of the women in charge didn't even look like cool women in charge. It wasn't like Gina Carano was manning the ship. It was a bunch of wine moms. And wine moms don't look like they do the best when they're leading intergalactic wars.
No.
Karen is not a warlord. Karen is not a ship's leader. She's not a captain. She drives a minivan. She doesn't drive a spaceship.
Yeah.
So that's what this felt like to me. And I went off on the show, and I'm not even a fan of the Halo video games. This is about an actor from the show Halo that just came out based on the video games. And basically, he got a lot of criticism. The whole show got a lot of criticism for developing its own canon rather than following the games, taking off his helmet early on, even though the character never does that in the games, really. I didn't have a problem with him taking it off. I didn't think he should do it so early in the show. They played it as if it was really important, but when it happens within the first hour of television, how is that? It doesn't have the weight.
There was no build-up.
There was no build-up. Well, that's the thing. They tried to do it as if there was build-up, and you're just like, it's a guy.
Yeah.
It's a guy. I'm not emotionally connected to this guy. In fact, most of the show that I complained about was like, it was all just people on the ship talking about annoying stuff that nobody in the middle of intergalactic war would ever talk about. My favorite part was like a girl who's complaining that she's never going to get promoted because her mom was like in charge of the ship. And I'm like, you're in a war, dude. Nobody what? Why are we talking about this?
Weird.
Just like I said, boring. So this guy got a lot of criticism, and instead of lashing out at people, he did what I believe would be the right thing to do. He was very amicable. He was very professional, and he says he indicates in his response to many of the fans that found themselves against the TV show in the lead up to its release upon hearing from the 343 Studios or Industries and Kiki Wolfkill, which is the coolest name ever, that it wouldn't take a direct adaptation. His quote was, "Huge thanks to everyone who supported our show. We were in the second most streamed piece of entertainment in the U.S. last week behind the Oscars. Best winner speech." Oh, best picture winner. I was like, if it's best, It says, "For the fans rooting against the home team who hated the show before they saw it and disagree with what we are doing, I respect your opinion and I love you too, because the truth is we love the same thing, and I will keep working my ass off each and every day to make this show the best version of itself, to bring attention and to respect the Halo universe we love. For all of us."
That's very
That's
nice.
all you have. That's literally all you have to do. I do think fans was a bit of a dig because he put it in quotes, but if he did, then he's an expert level digger.
Yeah.
Like, he took it out of, like, if he did that on purpose, then I give him credit for his subtlety at taking digs at people. But I don't know if that was the purpose of that. But the rest of it was as amicable as you could make something like that to be. And that's all people are usually asking for.
He has the high ground now. For
Yeah,
sure.
he does.
Yeah.
He's not going to, he didn't come out and say, well, all the fans who don't like it are evil
Kick
and
rocks.
bad
Yeah.
and go F yourself, which is
Right.
what a lot of people in these industries are want to do. You know, it's they always have to clap back. They can never just be professional.
Right.
I don't think that's too much to ask when you're manning like a billion, well, I guess not $1 billion franchise, but the games are absolutely $1 billion franchise.
Isn't it interesting though that we normal plebs have to be professional?
Yes.
But the more money and power you get, the less professional you have to be.
Yep.
Isn't that strange to you? Shouldn't you need to be more professional?
Rules for thee, but not for me.
I don't like that.
As they say.
Don't like that.
But he gets my respect
Yeah,
for at least
yeah,
because
yeah.
there was a lot of hatred for this show. And you think comic book fans are hard to please? Video game fans are going to be even harder to
Maybe
please.
he looked at the script and he was like, "Oh, they're not gonna like this."
I'm sure he did. Well, I'm sure. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he's connected to the source material or if he plays the games. He's probably in an age range where he probably gamed growing up and played stuff like that. But
Yeah.
just all you have to do is show a little grace, a little humility, and you will go a long way in winning people back. Like, arguably, maybe the show gets worse and it just goes off the rails. It already got approved for season 2 before season 1 even aired. But now he's got a lot more goodwill going into the work. Somebody like me, who all they're looking for is that is now giving him the benefit of the doubt rather than crapping on them more, which is what I would have done if he would have responded the opposite way. If he had responded like, "Oh, you guys all suck," we'd be making the same segment, except I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
So
there is one thing I dislike about his response, which is just that it's like, I respect your opinion. He didn't really respond to any criticism with
maybe he knows that he
why
can't.
it was done a certain way or
Yeah.
why he supports the way it was done.
my guess is that he doesn't have to, like, even if he does, in the world we live in now, they're going to have a rebuttal anyways. So then it's just going to become a back and forth. So
Sure.
the amicable
broad.
political answer is like, and that said, that's all I'm looking for is like fake decorum.
You're
Yeah.
so easily pleased,
Well,
Brett.
And but I'm
Thanks for not having utter disdain for me.
But I'm
like,
always-
what do you mean?
That's good. I'm
but
glad.
that's the world we live in now, where I'm shocked by not being shown disdain.
That is professionalism.
Yeah.
Professionalism is very much a case of kind of faking it till you make it. You don't feel genuine when you're being professional all the time, but you know that you're in a workspace, in a place where you need to present the image of a person who feels this way.
Yep.
It's very much acting.
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
like these people should be great
They
at it.
should be
It's what they
great.
do for a
Yeah,
living.
exactly.
They shouldn't
Yeah,
have
they
this
should be
problem,
doing, yeah.
but they do.
Cutting loose.
So, like, I guess I'm just so jaded by like comic professionals. Like, if you don't like my books, don't read them, which is like the opposite of what you should be saying if you're you only make money per page and then you only then get royalties if you make over a certain amount. You should be like, hey, maybe we don't agree on everything, but if you go out there and support this book, I will do my best to make the best product for everyone. You don't even have to mean it.
Well, they respond negatively because their egos are so wrapped up in what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that ties back to what we were saying about echo chambers. Everyone constantly tells them they're right. They have no issues ever. Everyone constantly agrees with them. And then if someone ever comes out and is like, "Oh, you did this wrong," they're like, "Oh, I don't do things
It's a personal
wrong."
attack
Yeah.
every time.
That's yes. That's
Instead of a criticism of a piece of art.
Right.
and that's why we take a lot of issue with like when they hire people based on characteristics rather than merit.
Exactly.
A lot of times, then they can't separate their work from their character,
Yeah.
and so they take everything as a personal attack. Like when people like I was telling her, like, I've had to find a way to handle like I don't like looking at the comments here because most of the stuff people say about the show is fairly good.
Yeah.
And the negative stuff is like, it's not my thing, whatever.
Okay.
That's fine. But like, but I'm saying, like, when people insult my skating, I don't care. I've been doing it for so long that I am so confident and comfortable with who I am in that realm that you can say whatever you want. I know you're either wrong or it's such a subjective art form that it's just not your thing, whatever. Here, when you're being judged based on your opinions and your delivery and the ability to play to a camera and put on a show, it's not necessarily something that I'm new at as far as like sharing my opinions, but when you're putting it out in it's your ideas that are now open for interpretation, you have to learn to not take that personally.
That's true. And I always said that if I were to tell young people, young ladies especially, how to prepare themselves for going on social media, it would involve a lot of self-reflection and self-awareness and being like, I know the truth about myself. This is something that I had to learn hard and fast because it was like, I'm not a racist. You can call me whatever you want. I know the truth about myself.
I still struggle with these, like outside of skating, I still struggle with like as much self-reflection as I do, just not, having the confidence to know who you are
Right.
and that not let what people say about you affect your opinions.
And the other thing about opinions is that they are not falsifiable. That means if you hold an opinion, no one gets to tell you that you are objectively wrong.
Yep.
You think that because of whatever led you to that point, your own life experience.
Yep, absolutely. I'm guessing opinions of others don't bother you.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's criticism against me, I'll take it in stride. Definitely.
Have to learn, and from the newer generation where their lives have been online from day one, they have to learn to do that.
And the internet used to be a far nastier
Yeah,
place.
it used to be way worse.
way harder to get banned
yeah.
back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Way harder to get
There
banned.
was no
back-
such thing even.
There was a site for rollerblading called Roller News, and that's how you basically found yourself in the industry. Is everyone posted their edits and they get posted on Roller News, and the comments would just be the most vile,
People
heinous.
did not hold back.
No, well, it was
I wish it was still like that.
back then. Well,
too,
back
yeah.
then it was because like you could have like you didn't have to have an account, so you could post your name could be like Jerkhead32 has this to say about your skating, and like calling it discourse is the is like the most like generous thing. He's
Very
like,
charitable.
wow, great section. I hope you die in a fire. Like that's
okay.
that's the type of stuff you would
Jeez.
hear. Like
Oh.
that's the type of stuff you'd hear. So it's like you had to be very like you had to learn to have a thick skin very early on. It's weird that it's an issue in publishing because that used to be a very common trope. Like if you wanted to work in publishing, you needed to have a thick skin because you're constantly going to have your ideas challenged.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I guess we have to do that here. We have to learn to be. We all here have.
It's a good skill.
We've had to learn that here, working here, just because of where we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes. Fantastic stuff. So all I'm saying is, guys, just don't be mean to people when your work gets criticized, and don't call them evil, and you're gonna get my thumbs up approval. And that's how low my standards are when it comes to celebrities these days.
respect
Just
it.
don't call everyone evil.
Yeah. That's fair.
Do that again? Yeah, thumbs up. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.